Setting up a Java 25 development environment on Intel-powered MacBooks running the Apple Monterey operating system natively without needing a virtual machine or a Docker container is much easier than you think. Java 25, at the time of recording, is the latest Java long-term support version. There are multiple ways to accomplish this. One way is to use Mac ports to install OpenJDK 25. Mac ports, by the way, is very useful to have if you have retrograded your Intel MacBook to the Monterey operating system. But in my opinion, downloading the Timirin OpenJDK 25 directly from the Adoptium website is the fastest and simplest approach. To make a long story short, Adoptium and Timirin are an Eclipse Foundation project. Eclipse is synonymous with Java, going back many decades. I got started with Java using the Eclipse IDE before the popular IntelliJ IDEA was invented. Make sure that you download the x64 version for Intel Macs. Once you download the installer from the website, you would install it just like you would any other Apple applications. That process alone will install the Java JDK, in this case the OpenJDK, in your machine. Now we are going to run this command to set Java home. Since I am using the Z shell, I'm going to pin this to my grc configuration file. Then you can either source your configuration file or restart the terminal. Then we can echo the Java home location to ensure that everything is in order. So at this point we have OpenJDK 25 installed, but now we need to install the Software Development Kit Manager, or SDK Manager, also known as SDKman. So we need to install that so that we can install Maven or Gradle or whatever a tool that you want. Before we install SDKman, I want to bring your attention to a certain caveat that happens when you retrograde to Monterey. When you retrograde to Monterey, it ships with a very old version of Bash. I think it's like 3.2 or something like that. The problem is that we need this version of Bash, which is the latest version of Bash, at least the latest version that will work with Monterey. This is the standard command that you would issue to get SDK Manager. Now this is a long installation process. It could be up to 15 minutes because it has to update Bash from 3.2 or whatever to the latest. If you run into an issue with the previous command installation process, then you can explicitly issue this command here for the specific Bash location. Once SDKman has been installed successfully, you will want to source this with this command. You can run the SDK version to make sure everything checks out. Now we can install Maven. And if you want to install Gradle, it will be the same process. And as you can see from the various modern Java syntax, this is definitely not Java 8. And if you want to use IntelliJ IDEA, the free version, on Monterey, you can. They have a version for Intel MacBooks. Our Java program compiled and is working, as you can see there. And if you're wondering why I retrograded to Monterey on an Intel MacBook, it's because this operating system is optimized for this hardware. If I were to update to the latest macOS version, it will run just way too hot and it won't run well. Additionally, Apple has stopped issuing macOS version for this hardware, which is rather unfortunate but understandable. And despite the fact that Monterey is the best OS for this hardware, you will still need a cooling pad under the laptop. I've made a separate video about this particular issue. Okay, thank you for watching. Please consider liking the video and subscribing to my channel. It is completely free.